So if you've ever wanted to sell something, one of the hardest things to figure out is how to even price what you're selling. And especially as coaches, as service providers, we are the product, we are the service. And so, how do we price that? How do we value our own service so that we're able to make the transformation in someone's life? So, today we're talking about how do I charge for coaching? I'm learning how to price your offer, and a lot of this is mental work that you're going to have to do. And this video is going to be recorded, so definitely rewatch it. You may catch some things you didn't catch live on the recording or your first time through, whatever it is. And this is one of the hardest things to overcome because the price is everything. Like if you can't convey the price, you can't convey the value, you're not going to be able to get clients. So addressing common questions when it comes to pricing. What are some questions you've asked yourself when thinking about how to price your offer? Should I sell my sessions on an hourly basis or as a package? How many sessions would that even, have to be for my services? What are the other coaches in my niche charging? I want to be competitive. I want to also stand out. And so how much are people willing to pay for my coaching? All these questions are so powerful for establishing your pricing. And so how much will I be willing to pay for coaching? And that's one of the most important things to really get over some of those mental barriers. What is the value of this transformation going to be worth in the client's lives when they make this change and achieve their results? And the reason why this is the most important question to ask is because clients don't care about the process that you have for them. They don't care how many hours you're going to have to meet with them or all the work you're doing behind the scenes. They just care about, is this service going to get me where I want to go? And if that place is paying off debt, if that place is better communication with my spouse, or planning for whatever life change is happening, that's really what they're looking at. So if you can make a $10,000 change in this client's life, then you can accurately put a price to it. Hey, a $2,000 coaching program will help you make $10,000 worth of change. It's a lot easier to understand what that means. If saying, hey, it's $2,000 for us to work 6 months together, and we're gonna work on this, this, and this. Cool, that's not false, but you still have to know what is the outcome you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to prevent divorce, what will the cost of divorce be if you don't work on this? And so thinking about the end in mind, what is the result, and pricing on the result instead of the process. And when you understand the value of your own results in your own life, you can kind of project, what is the value of the results that the client should expect in their life? And then that way you can start thinking about, okay, now let's kind of put all that stuff together. Not only the financial value that they're going to get, but the emotional value, the relational value, and confidence. All this other stuff plays a factor. We're going to talk about the pitfalls of the hourly mindset of charging. And we get in this mindset because that's how we're used to. If you don't have a business background, you're trading your time for your money. You may have like a $30 an hour job, so it's like, hey, I get paid $30 an hour because that's how organizations pay you. But when you're as a business owner, you're not charging hourly. If you did, you would have to charge for all the hours you did marketing, all the hours you did, developing your website, all those hours. And clients aren't necessarily paying for that. They're paying for the transformation. Even the same thing with the sessions. Like, you're meeting for the hour of the session, but you're doing work outside the session. They're doing work outside the session. And so some of the pitfalls of charging hourly, it's incentive misalignment, right? It almost conveys that the more we meet, the more you pay. And that equates like the number of times we meet with the outcome you get, which isn't always the case. In fact, if you're able to get that same outcome with less meetings, would that not make the product more valuable, right? So if the outcome is $10,000 and you're charging $2,000, is it more valuable to get that $10,000 outcome in 10 sessions or 3 sessions? And see, that's why you need to focus on the outcome you're trying to achieve for the client and help convey the perception of value. We think that more of our work equals a better outcome for the client, and that's not always the case, right? In fact, it's probably more efficient if you spend less time on the calls and offload a lot of the action items and all that stuff that will help them with progress, and help them do that, and you guide them through the process. So it really depends on the model you're taking with your coaching, how you want to do that. When you're charging hourly, is also limited scalability. You say, hey, I'm charging $300 an hour, but really a healthy coach would only coach 20 hours a week. Okay, even if you fill all that up, time-wise, $300 an hour, 20 hours a week of coaching, that's, 6,000, is that right? Yeah, $6,000 per week. 4 weeks, that's $24,000 a month. But that's full-time, full book of clients coaching. That is exhausting. 24,000, but after taxes and all that stuff, 24,000 may seem like a really good number right now, but over time, like when you're as a business owner, you're gonna have other expenses. You're gonna have contractors. You're gonna have marketing stuff, and eventually $24,000 will hopefully like kind of be a baseline month. And the scalability of that is really hard to do. And just because when you're working with clients, they $300 an hour sounds crazy, right? But when you're saying it's $2,000 for the whole transformation, it's a lot more digestible. And yeah, the next point, uncertainty with clients, because they're like, am I essentially squeezing out all the value in this session? Is every single minute of this session worth my money? And I fell into that too. Like I priced my program like, hey, it's going to be $100 a session or whatever. And clients will be like, I don't know if this session was worth $100. Like I could have gone without it. And I like to treat my coaching almost like kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet where you're paying for the whole thing and you're picking the things that you're most interested in, and not like going to a restaurant ordering the dish at a time. And some people do it that way. They're able to build effective coaching models through it. Not saying it's wrong, but that's just in my experience what I've seen. And so, yeah, the last one, undervaluing the preparation, the follow-up time, because you put in work outside of those sessions. And so, all the content you may have been producing, all the planning, and really like analyzing and assessing the documents that they've sent, things like that, that's all hourly. And so however you want to price your own time, your own worth, great. If you want to say my time is worth $50 an hour and that's what I'm going to use to price my coaching programs. But when you convey that to the client, clients don't care how much time you put in it. Clients honestly don't even care how much experience you have. You have 30 years experience or 3 months of experience. All they care about is the transformation, and do they trust you to get to that transformation? How much do they believe that you'll get them there? And that'll equate to how much they're willing to pay. We're going to have other calls on like consultation and navigating them through that process. So pricing our offer. We need to price on the value of the outcome. So it's value-based pricing. Price your offer on the transformation your clients are going to experience in their lives. So the truth is you're never going to charge what you're worth. If I can help a client have an extra $1,000 at the end of the month, whether it's earning $500 more and saving $500, or maybe just saving $1,000, whatever it is, $1,000 for the rest of their life, that's just the money side of things. That's $12,000 a year. That's $60,000 in 5 years. I'm not going to charge $60,000 up front, right? I'm not going to even charge $5,000, or maybe I am. Whatever your pricing and numbers are, think about like the life change you want to create in these clients' lives will be way more worth the price you're charging them. And that's the point. If you can deliver a program that's valued 10 times of what the cost is, that's a good return on their investment in themselves. And so, yeah, just really focusing on that. So you want to build into your pricing the amount of time you're spending on your clients during and outside the meeting times, but your offer should not be based on an estimated or exact hourly rate. And so, like for me, for example, what I'm charging for one-on-one clients, all of that is based on, okay, my time with them is worth this much, but I also need to have other projects for additional lead generation, systems I want to build, travel expenses, other development for myself. And so if you're able to price higher ticket on your one-on-one coaching offers, that gives you the margin to serve in other ways. So we can do, like communities like this. This community breaks even. Like we're not profitable in it, but it gives us all the profit and the margin in those higher ticket clients, gives us the ability to be able to do stuff like this and serve y'all. So think about that when you're pricing, because it's not just about that one service, it's about your whole business. So what is the number one response you get in like the objection for a consultation? It's the price. Oh, I can't afford this, it's too expensive. But in reality, price is never the actual objection, because when you can actually convey the value of the program, if you show them this program is worth $20,000, and I'm not going to charge you $20,000, I'm not even going to charge you $10,000. It's going to be $3,000 and some work, but knowing that you're going to create this whole new life, when they understand that value, then you'll pay for it. It's like if I had a car, like right now I'm selling a car. The car's worth $7,000. It's not a great car, okay? It's worth $7,000, but say, hey, here's the value of the car. It's in good shape. I'll sell it to you for $3,000. Now, is $3,000 a lot? Relatively no, because it's 40% of the value of what it actually costs. And so if you're able to deliver the value of your program and say, hey, this is the value of it, but I'm giving it to you for this price, it's a much easier sell. And so price is all relative. If I say, is $500 a lot of money? Maybe. Compared to what though, right? Is $3,000 a lot of money? Maybe for a phone, yeah. Maybe for a camera it is. But for a life change, if I lost 30 pounds, would I pay $3,000 to lose 30 pounds forever? Like, stay consistent? Probably. And so it's about the perceived value and the outcome that the offer will provide to them, right? And there's a lot that goes into creating that perceived value. And like I said, another call. So we'll have like an offers call in the future. If you want to get started on that, Alex Hormozi has a really great book called $100 Million Offers. And it's like $1 as an audiobook on Amazon, but it's free for his podcast too. If you go to The Game and Alex Hormozi, whatever, we'll probably just add that into the resources. So do you remember the key question I asked earlier? I don't even remember the key question I asked earlier. Oh yeah. So how much would I be willing to pay for my coaching? And I think Sam would be a really good person to walk you through this, because she actually is the one that developed this kind of animation mindset thing of like really understanding who am I as a coach, who am I as a client, and that'll affect how I view my pricing.
Yeah, so when I learned this absolutely changed everything for me. I was processing it for well over 24 hours. It really kind of shook my world in a really good way, and called me out in a lot of good ways also. So we say that this is where your client is. This little stick figure over here is your client, and here's the gap, and here's you. This is stick figure number 2. This is you on the other side of this gap. Now, if you believe on this side of the gap that your pricing is not expensive, if you believe that, yeah, I would be willing to pay that much for my coaching, you have to get your client to believe that your coaching is not expensive. You have to get them to come to your side of the gap. But this is what changed my life. If a client says, I can't do that, it's too expensive, and there's no gap between what they believe is expensive and what you believe is expensive, you're always going to negotiate against yourself, and hence never book any clients, because you are on the same side of the gap as your client is. So if you believe that your coaching is expensive, you're always going to negotiate against yourself. You're always going to come across not really confident when you're presenting your offer, because you don't believe that your coaching and your offer is worth the amount of money that you are presenting to your potential clients. So hopefully that was helpful. That absolutely changed my life when I learned this.
Yeah, and I think we touched on it last week in another call. Like you really have to become the client of, say, a high ticket program. Like not necessarily buying into it, but understand what it takes to be ready to buy into a high ticket program, to be able to ask for a high ticket cost. I never would have thought to invest $10,000 into my own personal development, business development. $10,000 is expensive. That's the a price of a decent car. But that was like one of the reasons why I couldn't ask for anything more than $100 a session. Because I was like, oh wait, you're right, is it expensive? So let me discount myself, discount my price. Like, you are the coach. You're supposed to lead them to their better life. And so showing them where the gap is, not only in their journey, but also like the gap in like what we consider expensive or high value or whatever, then if you're not actually on that other side of the gap mentally, like Sam said, you're negotiating against yourself because you're over here with your client. I love the artistic skill that Sam has over there with her stick figures.
My fabulous Google found stick figures.
Talk about this discounted budget coach. We want to be affordable for clients. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you present offer, hey, my coaching program's $1,000, hey Teddy, $1,000 too expensive. Can you like work with me? It's like, oh yeah. I want to be affordable. I'll just cut 50% off for you. Okay, $500. I might be able to manage that. Oh, it's the end of the month or whatever. I have a sale. Let me give you another 30% off. So another $200. Like, this is an exaggeration, but you can use the same thing for like 25% off, 10% off, because you're reducing the price. Like, the value of the product is still the same. So if your price is this much and your value is this much, the price fluctuation shouldn't influence their actual decision making, right? And what you're doing when you waver on your price, it's showing your client, I'm not confident about my price. And if you're taking the discount model, like I just haven't found that an effective way to market my services, because it challenges me. Like, I become insecure about my pricing and stuff. It's like, you want a discounted price? Would you also like a discounted outcome? No, you wouldn't want a discounted outcome. And so discounted or budget coaches often get stuck in the mindset of believing that's the only way to make a program affordable at a lower price. And there are more things you can change that's not the price of the program in order for it to be affordable. So yeah, like I said, Sam was saying, this happens when we're on the same side of the gap. If we're not confident in our pricing, the clients know that. And if we're not confident in our pricing, we're not confident in our program. The confidence is key, right? They are making an assumption every single second they talk to you. From your social media posts, to your consults, to the sales call, all that stuff, they're picking up on all your nonverbals. They're picking up on your confidence on your program and your ability to deliver on those results. And so if you can't price confidently, if you're discounting your price, what does that show about your program? Okay? So think about, I want to be a coach that changes lives. And so what is that life change worth to clients? And this doesn't even get into like, if you're only charging $100 per session, or, however you're pricing your programs, like, yeah, $100 per month is affordable for a lot of people, but that's not sustainable as a business model for one-on-one coaching, at least. So like, what can you do in order to make programs that are a good fit for your client while still being within their budget? Some people can't afford $1,000 a month for coaching, but if they can't find $100 a month for some type of coaching, some type of development, the price is not the issue. And so that's why we have group programs. Like, $50 a month is like, it's easy to show, hey, $50 a month is easy to find. We just have to show them the value that they're going to get from it. And doing that, it is efficient with your time, you're serving more people, and it's in their budget. Whatever that price point is, it could be $50, it could be $10, it could be $200 for your group coaching or some modified program. Like, that's where you get to be creative as a business owner. So there are different ways you can structure and price your coaching program. Like, another way, instead of changing the price, change the program. Hey, I know $1,000 seems like a lot with the program that I already outlined for you. Like, what would you need to see in that program for it to be worth $1,000? You know, they may say, I want weekly calls, I want this and that, I want this and that. And then you can negotiate, okay, let's see what we can add to the program to show you the results. It's a little different, right? Adding stuff to the program is honestly not that much harder. Yeah, so never negotiate your price. It has to do with confidence. Confidence is that barrier that you're going to face trying to present your offer to people. And if you keep repeating yourself and saying, okay, you know, I'm charging this much, but for you, I'm going to discount it. Okay, like maybe there are some exceptions that is effective, but in my experience, that hindered me from developing into the coach that needed to charge what I'm worth. And so, like right now, I'm going through a pricing change because now I realize $2,100 for 3 months for the transformation I'm getting is a very good deal, right? And I can up it to $5,000 for a 6-month program or a 4-month program, whatever that is for me. It's going to change, and it's going to change for you. So what you're starting at right now, you know, it may be good to get people in the door, get things moving, and build some momentum, but eventually you're going to have to up your prices and figure out a way to feel good about it. So that is where you get to play around with your business, find the affordable options for your clients. Say, hey, my main program is $3,000 for 3 months, but to fit your budget, the program's going to be a little different. You know, instead of meeting every week, we'll just do once a month, and then we could charge you $1,000 for the 3 months. So if you're changing the price, you got to change the program with it. Otherwise, you're compromising and you're negotiating against yourself. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the affordable offer or affordable options. So adjusting the actual program to fit the new price, offering a group coaching model. Also, even something as simple as setting up payment plans. Some, you know, no matter where you sit on this, payment plans are effective because if you want to charge on a weekly basis, showing someone, hey, it only costs $150 a week. Do you think you could find $150 every week? It you know, it connects with clients differently. So yeah. And so, what do you plan to charge for your offer? And so last week, either last week or the week before, we talked about the offer and what we're trying to help clients with. And I shared a little bit of like numbers here and there in this call. And I'm very transparent with you. The last 2 clients I signed were $2,100 clients for 3 months, paid in full, whatever. And with that, you know, they work bi-weekly, and then so that's the price of that program. And it took me a lot of time to even get to that, like a lot of steps to even feel confident with that. And so if you're not even near that, that's okay. If what you're comfortable charging is $300 for a month, then like talk about that. Like what I want to get your ideas of what is your price, not only of the transformation that you hope to achieve, but also of the offer. So this is where we'll just kind of keep it open and start having those discussions. And
I guess I'll jump in. This is actually a really timely session for me because I literally had a potential client outreach to me on my like Unprovoked, and I'll basically it was like a call for help kind of thing, and I'll just go ahead and so basically they're saying that they're in $50,000 in credit card debt, and what can I do to pay this off? So immediately I don't have a pricing structure yet. You know, I don't have I hadn't built this out yet. So I literally I literally asked ChatGPT how much should I charge for my services, and it just kind of generated a whole business plan structure that I could basically do online one-on-one coaching for like a month for like $400, and that initial number was like, ooh, that's a lot. But you know, like you're saying, that's really not that much compared to some of the other coaches that are out there. So I'm like, okay, that seems like a fair market price. So I generated a whole response, and then it's just crickets. So I feel like I kind of scared them off maybe by giving them like the breakdown of like all the different services that I would provide, and now I'm like, what should I respond back to them? Are they ghosting me? Are they thinking about it?
yeah,
You know, like And then with all the stuff that you've said, like I'm just like, well, maybe I should re-engage and try to see if maybe we can schedule a consultation call or something like that. So I don't want to lose them, but I'm just nervous now about like what should my next step to be.
Yeah, and I mean, it absolutely is a reality that they could have been lost. They could have been like, oh, he's just after the money, and so I don't want to talk to him anymore. And sometimes that happens. Like that happens a lot with like some of our early clients because we don't know how to navigate those conversations. Um, Joey, are you married?
Yes.
So this is kind of what I saw in what you're doing. So you met your girlfriend at the time. They weren't your girlfriend. You just knew them. It's like they're like, yeah, I'm single, and then you're like, oh, cool. I'm looking to get married. Do you want to get married? Here's the ring. Like that's kind of that's what you did, and it's funny because I've done the same thing, and you know, because like $400 does seem like a lot to people if you don't understand the value of it. So really nurturing the relationship even before you offer a price. We're going to talk about that in the consultation, running a consultation call, because like when people understand that you care for them and you really believe that you can help them get the results, and they buy into the program first, then giving them a number, that's how you can distinguish the value of what you're getting in the program to the price. And so yeah, $50,000 is a lot of debt to be in. And I'll tell you this, even if sometimes people have $50,000 of debt, but sometimes they also have $3,000 in the bank account. And then, you know, say magically have the money, right? Or if they're overspending every month, they may have a credit limit that they're already spending on other stuff. And be like, oh, if I stop spending on Uber Eats and Blue Apron and these subscriptions, I can find the money. I'm going to have to use my credit card still. But when you convey the offer and the value of the offer first, build that relationship, build that trust, then that way, when you actually pitch the price, it's not like any objection from that point. When you're focusing on nurturing the relationship and really caring about them, what is their need? Their need isn't get out of $50,000 of debt. No, their need is this debt is causing problems in my relationship. You know, I'm not able to leave my job because I have this debt and I have to make the payments. I can't start the business I want because it's too risky. Like, ask them those needs, the question behind the questions that they don't even know to ask themselves, and then finding the need and seeing, okay, you know, my program is a good fit. If we go through steps A through C, I see you getting out of debt in 3 years. Is that something you're interested in? They say yes and no, and you just navigate that conversation. It's like, okay, so this is the cost of working with me. $1,200 for 4 months, because I think 4 months is just what you need. And if we need to reevaluate that, we can. If we need to go longer, we'll definitely be flexible with that. And then how you want to present your offer. I hope that kind of give you a new perspective on navigating, even getting to that, asking for the service.
Too, Teddy, and I don't know how you do it. I don't give my prices in writing anymore. I exclusively give my prices over the phone on our consultation call, so usually it's Zoom. And then the only time I see a price is when it's listed in the contract and they're signing the contract. Because I always have my clients just sign a basic liability contract prior to the payment so that they understand the terms that are involved. And then they do their payment after they sign the contract. But I never give it in writing other than that contract that they need to sign.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you, appreciate you being bold to even offer something that you probably weren't even like comfortable with maybe a couple months ago, right?
Right.
So yeah, just keep challenging yourself. You're gonna keep getting no's, but once you get that one yes, it'll.
Right. Well, I remember after one of your videos, you mentioned like trying to get your first dollar. So I was like, okay, this is my first real lead. You know, how do I get my first dollar? And then I guess I just got excited and just got a little overzealous. But I guess now my thought process is like, well, should I re-engage and say, hey, maybe we can jump on, like, kind of retrace my steps and say, look, maybe we can just, I can get to know you a little bit more, or I can, you want to jump on a call and we can do a quick, consultation, and that way it's not just like a, crickets, or should I re-engage?
Yeah, I mean, I think how you re-engage is definitely really important. Obviously, I don't see the messages. I don't know exactly the language that was used, um, but you can just like follow up and say, "Hey, I just wanted to check back in. I have a couple free resources I wanted to send your way. Would you be interested in that?" And that way, it opens a line of communication. It's not related to asking for a price. It's not asking for a service. You're just literally giving stuff to them, but asking for their permission to send it. One, it seems consensual, right? And then two, it opens a line of communication. If they don't respond to a free resource that you're offering, then you have your answer right there. Or they may just be busy and you just keep following up and providing them value without necessarily asking for money back. And then when they start building that trust with you, then they may be like, oh, okay, I actually do want to hop on a call because we've been trying to do it by ourselves without committing to a coach, and I think it's time. So awesome, appreciate it, Joey.
Yeah, thanks for taking it.
So, yeah, I guess I'll hop on. So I've been thinking about my pricing structure, and uh, I'm thinking I want to charge somewhere around, like $4,000. I want to get to there. I'm not saying that I want to get there right now.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of a starting point. And I've been thinking I'll offer 3 months or 4 months. And I'm like, maybe I would just offer a month course, but maybe I would structure it as we can do 3 months for $2,500, or we could do 6 months for like $4,000. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I'd like to keep them on as a client where they can come in and they can still be my client, still get a call like quarterly or semi-annually. Also, with them paying, that's what they get for paying the monthly charge, which may be $100 or it might be $125. I'm not sure right now what I was going to go to, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of structuring this out. And monthly charge would also let them come in case they have to have an emergency meeting with me. They need some clarification on something.
Absolutely. No,
And-
yeah.
and-
Yeah. Go ahead.
And like you were saying, divorce costs money. Everything costs money. Talk about the value that your client's getting out of it. And I even know even bankruptcy costs money.
Right.
Pay the lawyer something. You might not have to pay somebody else something, but you're going to pay that lawyer something. I mean, that's something. But then the years of pain that you saved them from not having to file, that's the value there.
You brought up a really good point. People who are literally bankrupt find the money to get an attorney, right? So people who are in debt find the money to pay for coaching. People who are on the brink of divorce will find the money. Like either they realize the pain by themselves or you help them understand the gap of where they are, where they want to go, and they'll find the money because then it becomes a priority in their life. And I think with your pricing structure, it's not something I've been on like the after coaching model, right? Subscription to where it has that access and stuff. But I know coaches that have done that. I just haven't figured a way to do it or found it beneficial for the clients that I have. But it can be really effective in terms of like, getting to that point of, oh, I can charge $4,000 for 6 months. It really is really understanding the need of the client. And because if the consultation is 30 minutes or an hour and a half, showing you how to even convey that value has a lot to do with the types of questions you're even asking and just showing you care, right? At the end of the day, this business is not about us and how much money we can make. No, we want to understand the transformation and how to help people. And they say thank you with money. Like, that's what it is. Of course, they'll say thank you with like, words and all that stuff too. But yeah, like there's a dignity in paying for that transformation. And, that also like filters out the clients that you don't want to work with. And
Can I jump in and ask another additional question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was curious about, you mentioned because I'm thinking about like people's objections of like, oh, I can't pay, or maybe I want to pay, financing. So how do you set up a payment portal to be able to accept, like financing options or things like that, like credit card payments or buy now, pay later kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, there are different tools that you can use. I mean, if you don't want to use any tool, you can say, hey, it's going to cost $200 a month. I'll just send you an invoice, and then just pay, send, if it's a Cash App link, if it's Zelle information, just say, hey, I'll send you a reminder. Preferably if you have an invoice, like just find an invoice template. That's at least something that they have a receipt. Oh, I did pay for this, or this is like the cost of it. I use Square. I use a free version of Square, but the paid version has like recurring payments where they can like withdraw and stuff like that. I haven't found a need for it yet because I strongly encourage, on the coaching side, it's called paid in full, but clients don't really hear that. For them, it's a prepayment discount. You can get them to pay all up front and give them a discount incentive for that. That one actually makes sense to discount because you're saving yourself the time of doing the recurring payments, whether it's through a system or through manually asking for them. That saves you the headache. Square, Stripe, even something as simple as Zelle, or if you accept checks, like something as simple as notifying them by yourself with an email, with a text message is enough to set something up. But like I said, a paid version of Square, you can do it that way. There are other payment processors too. I'm just not familiar with them. I don't know, Sam, if you are.
I actually use Square for all my stuff too. I have used the recurring payments for like one or two people, and you just set up like the dates that the invoice, like it's one invoice, but it has the recurring payments, and you show when each payment is due. And it just makes it really easy. I use Square for pretty much everything, my website, my appointments, my payments, because it's all in one place and it makes it really simple to have your client base and everything that you need to do is involved in that same platform.
Get the question.
One of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get some beta clients. I'm paying, but I'm also going to be telling my beta clients because I can't get them on board. Just isn't giving me anything to work with. She's a single mom. She's going to private school because her kid doesn't do very well in the public schools. He's kind of emotionally unstable, a lot of kids, but he's found a home in the private school that my kids go to. It's very costly for her. She's just landed her a job. She's been unemployed for 5 years or so. And so just getting some more stuff going on right now with her. And she she wants coaching, but every day she's like, I've got this new thing coming in. Like, I've just started the job. My husband to pay me a month of child support. I don't know if he's going to continue paying it or not, And so she's just not getting with me. So somebody challenged me today, tell her July 1, you're going to start charging for your coaching. And if she wants to get on board, it's kind of an idea. And like, charge her something, even if it's not my full price, even if it's just $50 a month or something like that, or $50 a session, just so she can have the dignity of paying for it also. But try to get her on board now. That way I can try to help her now,
Yeah. And so for anyone that's not familiar with the term beta clients, essentially they are like your first clients that you're either offering services for free or at a discount just to get your reps in and serve clients. And you can treat beta clients a few different ways. You can offer it for free, like completely free. But as you know, if you're not paying, you're usually not playing in terms of like actually buy-in. And so the thing is, I would challenge you on this, to get buy-in on someone who like legitimately can't afford it. It doesn't always have to be money, right? You can say, hey, clean houses or whatever, bartering services. If you're able to clean my house once a week, I'll give you coaching for free. Or hey, if you read this book and just give me a little book report, I'll work for you for free. So that's their buy-in. In the work for the book report, they're getting value from it, and it shows you that they're bought in. It shows you that they're actually committed. A lot of people will say they need the help, and they need the help. But as you notice, there's a lot of other things that come up in life, legitimate and also not legitimate, that takes time away from investing in coaching. And really navigating some of those objections will be really powerful. So what we're doing today is not to give you a set in stone price. It's to help you frame the mentality to be able to charge what you're worth. And even if it's not fully set in stone, if you have the goal, right, Gareth, if you have the goal doing $4,000 programs, that's awesome. I never even thought I would ever get to that point until someone was like, that's all you're charging? You're only charging $100 a session? Having someone step in into your life or whatever to challenge you, that's how we benefit from coaching, and that's what we're gonna do for clients as well. So have some kind of goal in mind, but just know that if you don't have a price set in stone from this call, that's okay, and that's actually really expected. But getting over a lot of those mental hurdles to be like, you know what, I shouldn't charge hourly. I am delivering a lot of value. Now I just need to figure out how to convey that. Now you're starting to process, oh, this is how an effective coach thinks, and this is how an effective coach can communicate to clients about what they really want, right? And I say it all the time. Like for my clients, I tell them, no one cares about budgeting. No one cares about paying off debt. They care about having money. They care about having their time back. And then really articulating the stuff behind what they're actually concerned about is where you find that value to be able to ask for your price. Hopefully, encouragement from, seeing me and Sam actually do it. That's what helped me increase my price. I'm seeing other people actually do it. So hopefully that helps y'all kind of break through some of the barriers too in the self-confidence space.
When you talk, Teddy, is that the need behind the behavior. It's just like we do with kids.
Yeah.
They're acting out. There's a need behind this behavior. There's a reason people are in such debt. We got to find the reason behind that and stop that kind of work in order to move forward.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of work of trauma. People are in trauma with their debt, and it's kind of like being a social worker. You're figuring out what their need is actually. So I charge $550 for a month, but most of them are 3 months long, and I found that to be a pretty good price with the clientele that I'm working with. So.
Yeah, I like that. And so I'd love to hear your story from where you started to be able to charge $550 a month. Like, what were the things that stuck out to you to even get through to that confidence level?
I started at 2 because I thought, oh, that's an easy number and people can find that kind of money in their budget, right? But then I started thinking about the clients that I do serve, which are mostly people that are wanting to adopt or infertility. Those are very expensive services. So I know that they're going to spend $50,000 to $100,000 on that. Well, $500 or $550 is nothing compared to what they're doing, and they're used to. They've got some other debt, but it's not big debt, and a lot of it has been for these treatments before, so now they're trying to maybe this is their 3rd attempt or something, so now we're doing this, and they understand the need to save the money and actually do it. So in my realm, it was just a little bit of, this is too cheap for these families, quite honestly, and knowing the service that I was providing and knowing what their end goal, and I always start a conversation when I talk with a client about, what are your goals? I don't talk about their issues right up front. I always talk about what's the end goal, how can we make this happen? It's going to be great for you. You're going to have a family that you've always wanted. All the positive things that come out of this, instead of worrying about the problem and about how much debt and they're going to go into for this issue. And so that has helped me a lot, is to kind of change the mindset to understand they're dealing with some stuff. And it's a little trauma. So if I go back to my trauma training, I can utilize that and switch it to a positive and try to find out what we really need with a client. And that's helped tremendously.
I love that. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Stella.
I'm more likely to have someone who is committed to the process if they're buying into a program versus hourly. Because what happened with my hourly client is after 4 months of working together, he just disappeared into thin air, and I never heard from him again until probably 3 weeks ago. But I'm like, what happened to you? Kind of as you're working with people, right, create that bond and relationship, and so you almost wonder, did something bad happen? I hope you're actually okay, as a person. So that's why I changed from that hourly pricing model to the package pricing or the program pricing, because I just found that that's a lot easier. So in terms of going from beta pricing to full program pricing, Teddy, I don't know if you have any input on this. I don't really have beta clients. I have pro bono clients. So I do the work for free, which in a way is kind of beta, but it's not the early on. So what I do with my pro bono clients is they sign a contract that they get free coaching for 3 months. And then after the 3 months are up, we reevaluate their eligibility for pro bono services. So for example, I have one client right now that I'm helping because they spend $9,000 a month and make $2,500. And I was like, you desperately need help, but I know that it is nowhere in your budget right now to afford my services, but I really want to help you. So I'm going to help you for free for these 3 months until you can get back on track. As of July, they'll convert right into a $3,200 client.
And to kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say to touch on like the idea of beta clients. Like if y'all are familiar with Financial Peace University, it's a financial literacy class, right? That Dave Ramsey has, and teaching that essentially is like beta clients. You're teaching a class for free. You're not getting paid for it. They bought into it, and so those are beta clients. Like it doesn't always have to be one-on-one. It can be that classroom setting. So I think everyone here is familiar with Dave Ramsey. If not, you've actually gone through a Financial Peace University. Become a coordinator, lead those classes, and that'll actually give you a lot of reps too, because you don't have to find the clients. You host a class and they come find you. Sometimes you have classes of 5 people or 20 people. For a Ramsey preferred coach, it looks a little better, but even if you're not, anyone can lead it. You just go through the training. It's really easy. But yeah, then you have 10, 15 people in a class that you're actually leading and you're coaching. Consultation call, but our lead generation call, talk about beta clients because that falls in there a little bit. Just re-envisioning what beta clients look like. It can be one-on-one, but it can be a classroom setting too. Yeah, I mean, even beta clients for group coaching. I think Joey has a group that he started. You can actually add people in for free if they're like, if you're like, hey, you know, it looks like you do need the help, and for being one of the first 5 people, I'll just put you in for free. But the condition is just show up for the calls and engage, and then from there, you're already building the community and all that stuff. So beta clients, you know, can help get you started with the momentum you need to start building that confidence for the pricing, because you're actually putting into practice and seeing the results that you're delivering. Do you have any other questions about pricing? Because
I had an idea of like, do you guys recommend like a client specific pricing model? So if you see like that 50,000 in debt client, you know, like would you potentially charge more because you know it's going to be a big client, like a lot of work that might be involved, versus an easier client? You might say, oh well, yeah, I can do you for 400, but you know, like, oh, that's gonna be a $500. You know, like, would you recommend that kind of model, or would you just have a fixed rate?
So I actually do that. Like on my end, I think the expert, right? You see the need, you can kind of project how much work it's gonna be. You're not always gonna be accurate, but yeah, like I have my main program is gonna be 4 months, and we're gonna meet 10 times. Like that's the pace of the program, and then that shows me how much work I'm putting in. But if it's like an easier client, I would say, you know, we can work together for 3 months and meet once a month to get the outcome. Once a month to get the outcome that you're looking for, and then I'll modify the pricing for that. So it's not client specific. It's like I have these programs, so based on their need, which bucket do they fall into? The only exception to like client specific pricing, I haven't tried it. I haven't had a client to do that because I don't know. I'm still on the edge on like how I feel about it. But for the clients that have a very high income, because you're gonna meet, I mean, Stella's in that space. You're gonna meet people who make $200,000 to $300,000 a year, and so it's like if my program only costs $4,000, you know, as soon as something else that costs more than $4,000, which comes up a lot in their life, they're like, oh well, whatever. Like it's not important to them anymore. But cases like that where you have high income earners, but the transformation is the same, you can do like a percentage based thing, like okay, 4% of your gross income, something like that, is something I've heard of. I've not done that. The only case I have right now, my current clients, is gonna double or triple her income. And I thought I had to wrestle with that. I'm like, do I want to increase the pricing so she has more buy-in? But the fact that she went through 3 months of my program, she doesn't need the buy-in anymore. And part of it, like, also is what am I conveying, right? Am I in this for the money? And by upping the price to 2 to 3x just because her income goes up, it just doesn't look good in the brand I want to establish. So 2100, I'm like, my new price, I'm not even gonna offer the new price. I'm just gonna keep the same price as it is. One, as a thank you for being one of like the first major clients, and as a celebration for her success. I absolutely can charge more. I just don't want to. And that's client specific pricing, but not because of the client, because of the programs I have established, or the timelines I have and the amount of work, and then just them falling into those buckets.
Yeah, I second that. I have different like programs, so it's like dependent on how much they feel or how much I evaluate they might need to meet with me. Right? I haven't come across that situation either, Teddy, that if it's a really high income earner, but I feel like if I come across someone who's making $300,000 a year, right, or even $200,000 a year, $4,000 or $5,000 to them might not be worth much, and they might not value your offer because it's kind of like chump change to them. They're like, I could throw that out. I could not show up to our meetings and like, I'll be totally fine. So you need to make sure that it's something that they're going to value and commit to, because you don't want to waste their time and their money, and you also don't want to waste your time and your money, right? And your resources and whatever on someone who says they're going to be committed to the process but isn't really. And that kind of goes back to the experience with hourly clients, is you're kind of throwing your time away because they're just not committed to the process like someone who values a high ticket program is.
Something you will notice, the clients that spend more, they actually care. They spend more, they care more, and therefore they actually are bought in, and they are easier to work with. I had a $900 client for a 3-month program that's worth the $2,100, and they were like nickel and diming me. They were like, I don't know if I'm getting all my money's worth from this session or this and that. I'm like, okay, this is not working out. Let me just give you all your money back. I'll take the loss. I just want you to be happy and served well. And clearly I can't serve you well like this. So here's your money back. And then I have these $2,100 clients who are like, oh, I'm doing everything on your action item list. I'm just like showing up, and like I had my main like poster child client. I was like, yeah, cut up your credit cards and send me a video. And she did that. She literally like stood over the trash can, cut it up, and celebrated her for it. Like people cut up their cards. Like that takes a lot of emotional investment to do that. Obviously they can just get a new card back, but yeah, you'll notice that as you're trying to feel out, okay, here are the audiences I'm working well with, I get best serve, and because I can best serve them, I can best charge and price myself, then you really find that sweet spot. But yeah, and essentially y'all are our beta clients for the coaching side of things. So now you're getting the experience of being a beta client. You can look out for that. $50 a month, grandfathered pricing. You can do that too. $200 for one-on-one coaching and grandfather that pricing in. Build that trust, build that confidence. And so, yeah, like y'all are witnessing it real time. So I know this video was a little messy, but I appreciate you watching. I hope you got value from learning how to price your stuff effectively. That's really what it's about, because if you can't figure out your price, you're not going to be able to serve your clients. And if you want more content like this, go ahead and join our group. It's From Passion to Profit on the Skool platform. The link's going to be in the description. We're really here to just help new business owners with no business background take the gifts and the passions that they love and actually make something out of it. Make a business, make a nonprofit, for-profit, whatever. But ideally, we want this to help give you that step to that dream life of owning your own business. So let us know if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, or just go ahead and join our community. We'd appreciate that. But until next time, hope you have a good one.